So we have a little bit of cold weather here today. Give you a quick peek out the window here. That's what we're dealing with. So consequently, we're not moving dirt today. So I got a short little video here I'm going to put together here. A little bit of work we're going to do in the shop. And you'll be seeing this project on future videos. So this is what we have. So we've got this I-beam, and we got to cut it down to length, and we're going to drill some holes and bolt these couple cutting edges on here. And then this thing will get flipped over, flip it 180 degrees, and then we'll cut some notches in what will be the top flange once it's flipped over. And this will be an 11-foot grading beam for a 12 to 15 ton size excavator. And they work really slick. I have one, but it's really old, and the bottom flanges are wore out. And so we're trying to kind of rebuild this one like a new and improved version. We use it a lot for grading swales and actually boxing out driveways and things like that. Even digging foundations, we'll throw this in the hole and dig for a while, then grab the I-beam and just kind of clean up the bottom. So it gets used quite a bit. We just throw it on the trailer underneath the excavator when we take it to a job. So I'll probably set up a time lapse here once we get going working on this, and throw together a short video about it. All right, we'll see you in a bit. Okay, so here's what we got. So we're going to cut it off right there at that line, and then I just took some spray paint and just shot a little paint down through the holes in the cutting edges. Because what we got to do is we got to grind this real clean right where the mag drill is going to drill, because the mag drill bits don't like any rust at all, so it tends to dull them real quick. So we're going to get all those bolt hole areas cleaned up. Then we'll have to put the cutting edges back on top of the beam there. We'll clamp them down and probably mag drill right down through the holes that are in them. So I'll try to get, like I said, I'll get a time lapse of that. First things first, we got to get this cut off to length. Okay, we're going to fire up the old Miller Spectrum 1000 here, and we're going to trim this off. Okay, we got a nice clean cut through that. Now, I think for now, I'm just going to cut down a couple inches there. There's a bolt hole, and I'm going to cut it out and just take that small piece right off the end. And once we get it flipped up on the other flange, we'll finish cutting it to length and cut the 2 notches where the bucket and the thumb come together. It's a little too wide to clamp directly the way it is, so I take about 2 inches. I think this flange is like 11 inches. So I'll take about 2 inches out of each side of the flange. It also helps keep the bucket centered up on the I-beam as well. So we'll do that when we flip it over. Okay, so got those holes. Well, I got the rust ground off where the holes are going to be. I also went along and this I-beam's old. It's been kicking around a long time. So I just cleaned up the edge just to make sure the cutting edge will sit nice and flat on there. And then it's cut to length, all except a little bit of that top flange, and you can see that cut there. The old Miller plasma cutter still works good. Thing's probably 15 years old. It's been a good one. So now I'm going to get these cutting edges put up on there, and probably one at a time, get it clamped down and get the mag drill set up. So those of you who aren't familiar with the Milwaukee mag drill, uses these we call them hole hog bits, but they work really well. They drill fast, and it kind of leaves a center plug that just drops out after you get through the hole. So this should work good. I got 22 holes to drill here, so it goes along pretty quick. I'll do a time lapse of that. We'll see you in a bit. Okay, try to center this thing up. Lubrication. Okay, so there we go. The cutting edges both cutting edges are all bolted on there. Came out pretty good, pretty much flush with the end there. I'm probably going to clip these corners, round these corners, or 45 of them or something. And then here is where I'm going to probably come in on an angle here and take about 2 inches by 4 foot out of the center. Same on this other side, just to narrow this up so that the thumb in the bucket can reach around it and grab it. And then the teeth should grab down here towards the bottom. And the same thing on the other side, the thumb teeth should grab down in the bottom there. And you actually can grade pretty good with these things. It's coming along. We'll be done here shortly. One problem I have with this excavator, which this beam's a little too big for this machine anyways, but the way this thumb grabs the bucket, I think this thumb was originally probably designed to be on here with a quick coupler, but I didn't want the extra weight, and we don't really switch. I don't have any other buckets, so we don't really switch buckets. So what I'm thinking about doing is, this just doesn't line up very good at all with the teeth. I'm thinking about actually cutting this off and putting a heavy-duty piece of box beam out here and giving this 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 4, probably 3 or it's either got to be 3 or 5 tines on the thumb, so you can actually do something with it, because it's kind of terrible the way it is. I also don't like thumbs being this narrow compared to the bucket, so I'd really like to widen this. I wouldn't mind if this thumb came out to these outside teeth. That would be ideal. So we'll see. That's another shop project one of these days. Okay, folks. Well, here she is. Gotta apologize. I was going to do a time lapse. I was going to show you the layout and the time lapse of cutting this, but I forgot to hit record. But this is what we have. We got a 45-degree angle on each end. That's just so when you walk by it, you know how that's going to go. Got this narrowed up here so it'll fit between the bucket and the thumb on the excavator. Probably does weaken it a little bit, but most of the stress is on the bottom flange of the I-beam, not on the top. So it should be fine. We did the other one the same way and never had any trouble with that. The only difference on this one is we decided to go ahead and put bolt-on cutting edges so we could just replace them. I sourced those locally for right here in town. They had to order them for me because they are 11 foot long, so it's not really a standard cutting edge. So they ordered them with the bolt spacing that I asked for. So that worked out good. They weren't terribly expensive. Probably half. I don't know what this I-beam would cost. This particular I-beam is 11.5 inch flange on top, and it's 16 inches high overall. And you can see it's fairly thick. That's probably about an inch there with a 1/2 inch web. So it's a pretty rugged I-beam. So we'll have some video here in the future of this thing out on the job working. So I think that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thanks for watching.